right here on WRDW for Warren, A Way of Life, every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Connect with us for a time of worship, prayer, and Bible study with Pastor David McKinley.
Snakes, rodents, and mold all live and grow beneath your home and eventually will find their way inside. Canty Foundation Specialist is your local trusted expert in crawl space sealing. Call us today for a free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Investigate TV is here.
You almost seem speechless.
Watch Investigate TV from the station that's on your side. This is News 12, first at 5.
A Sumter, South Carolina father has taken not only his life, but the lives of his 3 children. Next, live at 5, the latest on this deadly shooting.
But first, a simple walk to Walmart ended in tragedy for one local family.
Now they're fighting for justice after their alleged killer took a plea deal. Alexa Little had just turned 20 years old when she was walking to Walmart with her boyfriend. That's when Holly Worley hit and killed Alexa and injured her boyfriend. Her dad, Jason, was on his way home from Florida when he got the phone call that his daughter had passed away. He told me Worley fled the scene after hitting them, driving 4 or 5 miles down the road. He says the sentence was not enough for taking his daughter's life.
I'm really hoping to see that justice gets served for my daughter, Alexa. No amount of time will bring her back, but 4 years is kind of an insult to lose someone like.
And you can hear how hard it was to talk about this. Coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're looking into Worley's past and how this wasn't her first time running into law enforcement.
Just a father's pain.
Yeah,
How
absolutely.
with him. Our other top story today, the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, or DHEC as it's casually known, oversees everything from coordinating the state's pandemic response in recent years to issuing food safety permits to even regulating dams.
Yeah, and some lawmakers believe DHEC is unwieldy and unmanageable, and say that government needs to run more efficiently. State House reporter Mary Green joins us from Columbia. Mary, what's their plan in the response?
Well, Will, Meredith, they want to break DHEC up. And this isn't the first time we've heard this plan. This same exact bill passed the state Senate last year before it died in a House of Representatives committee before it could get to the governor's desk.
This bill would dissolve DHEC and create 2 new cabinet-level agencies, the Department of Behavioral and Public Health and the Department of Environmental Services. Behavioral and Public Health would take over DHEC's health responsibilities and subsume the Department of Mental Health and the Department of Alcohol and Other Drug Abuse Services, DAODAS, both of which would cease to exist. The heads of both DMH and DAODAS told senators in a hearing Wednesday that under this plan, they believe they'd still be able to meet the needs of the South Carolinians they serve right now as standalone agencies.
I just think that it should be done carefully so that a merger does not diminish the importance and the public perception of importance of addictions issues.
DHEC's environmental control functions would become the Department of Environmental Services, which would also take over the Department of Natural Resources' current Water Resources Division. Meanwhile, the Department of Mental Health's current responsibility to oversee veterans' nursing homes and DHEC's current responsibility to oversee food safety programs would shift to the Department of Veterans Affairs and Agriculture, respectively. South Carolina's new Secretary of Veterans Affairs says no one in his agency has a background in nursing home management, and he doesn't believe his is the right agency to oversee this.
Taking a field that's very complex, very clinically focused, and moving it to a department that has enough experience is going to require some litigation.
Now, this bill is very early on in the legislative process, with senators just holding hearings on it right now. This bill would still need to get several more approvals to reach the governor's desk. Reporting live from the South Carolina State House, Mary Green, on your side.
Thanks, Mary. Senators say they plan to hold at least one more meeting on this bill next week. Well, taking a live look outside over SRP Park, high school baseball is on tonight with North Augusta taking on Harlem. Not the most ideal conditions out there right now. Seeing a little bit of rain.
No, but it is warmer, and it was chillier early. So I don't know what's better, the rain or the warmth, but either way, you can't really pick.
Well, the pellet's gone. That's all I care about right now.
That's
At least
better.
it seems to be gone.
Yeah, so there we go. There handing it to you, Riley. The pollen
There you go.
time.
Absolutely. A little bit of 10 minutes.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. The Sumter community has been rocked after hearing the news of the deaths of 3 kids and 2 adults. It happened late last night, and agencies covering the incident say it appears to be a domestic situation. They believe the father, 39-year-old Charles Slack, shot the 3 children in bed. The father then allegedly killed a man in the backyard of the house before taking his own life. Sumter County schools say 2 of the students were elementary aged, a third was in middle school. One grandmother of an elementary student says she is struggling to grapple with how to explain to her kids what happened.
With so much violence in our country, they're not innocent like it was when I went to school. They're not. You want to protect them, but you don't know how to protect them anymore because it's so much. It's so much, and you have to expose them to things that you don't want to expose them to.
Investigators are still trying to connect the dots to see if the third child was Slack's child. According to court records obtained by our sister station, WIS, Slack separated from his ex-wife and mother of the children in January of 2022. Court records state Slack and the mother shared the first 2 children. New details at 5.
Another day with no decision. The grand jury that was set to weigh in on the possible indictment of former President Donald Trump has the day off. This is the live stakeout camera at the Manhattan courthouse where proceedings are taking place. This comes after a social media post saying he expected to be indicted yesterday over hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels before Election Day in 2016. The investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office is looking at how Trump's company, the Trump Organization, classified the payment and reimbursement to Cohen as legal expenses.
Hiking the pain away. Next, live at 5, we hear from one firefighter who is taking on a 2,000-mile trail. Riley?
Well, the clouds will finally break tomorrow. We're back into the mid-80s the next couple of afternoons. Take a look at that big warm-up and also some rain heading our way this weekend, just after break.
More details on a viral video involving a Richmond County Sheriff's Office car. That's coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
It's what they do. It's all they do. All nines.
Breaking news, 7 Evans Middle School students have been removed from campus, and we are told they are facing charges.
In a statement, the district says that they have been charged for possession of illegal substances. They will be held to the code of conduct. We'll keep you updated as we learn more with that. Riley?
Well, we have been tracking a few light showers across 6 days.
Thanks, Riley. A firefighter who was at Ground Zero during 9/11 is now hitting the Appalachian Trail. He just passed the border from Georgia into North Carolina today.
And he has a long way to go. As Sawyer Bussey explains, the hike is helping him work through some of his tragic memories.
Here on the Appalachian Trail, it's you, your thoughts, and the woods.
I'm an Eagle Scout, and so for me, community service has always been something that's been super important.
Rob Weisberg's adventure started with the send-off from the Atlanta Area Council Boy Scouts of America, and now he's on the trail. For most hikers who dedicate themselves to more than 2,000 miles of hiking, the solitude is the point. For Rob, the solitude is where he faces his biggest challenge, his own memories.
And I was underneath the Twin Towers when the first plane hit.
Rob was across the street when the towers fell on 9/11. He told emergency crews he was a volunteer firefighter. It was all hands on deck. Not only did Rob lose friends that day, he lost friends in the war that started because of that day.
Obviously, I have a lot of baggage associated with that day. But it wasn't just that day. I was involved with 9/11 from that day forward. I worked down there with the rescue recovery for the next 9 months. Okay. Helping to help find my friends.
Finishing this hike will not only be a test of Rob's physical strength, but a test of his ability to sit with or walk out the emotions that come up in solitude.
I turned golf for, like I said, over 20 years, and I think that's why being out here allowed me to process all of this.
So,
Rob is raising money during this hike. He's fundraising for a group called Paws of War. It's an organization that helped him train his service dog. If you'd like to donate, all the information you need is in this story on our Atlanta News First app. Sawyer Bussey, Atlanta News First.
You're watching News 12 on your side.
There's nothing little.
It's a system we all pay into, federal unemployment. Now a federal watchdog group says they believe unemployment fraud during the pandemic topped $60 billion.
One woman wants to know the plan for the next emergency after stacks of unemployment letters with various people's names were delivered to her home. Our national investigative team, Carice Van Jackman, explains.
It's a strange type of junk mail that made Elena Schneider nervous and concerned.
I thought our information was compromised.
In 2020, when the country was shut down because of the pandemic and millions of Americans filed for unemployment, strange letters started flooding Schneider's mailbox from her state's unemployment office in California, addressed to people she didn't know.
The names were just so weird, the origin of the first name and the origin of the last name didn't ever match.
She says she never opened them, but recognized the envelopes as the same type her husband received when he applied for unemployment during the pandemic.
There was no stopping. We reported all these times. We sent it back. We wrote attention director. Nothing ever happened.
Even more troubling, some of the letters that started coming to her address were from out-of-state unemployment offices. If you think what Schneider experienced is bizarre, it matches what experts tell us they've heard from people across the country. The U.S. Government Accountability Office, or GAO, released its new analysis. It found several examples of unemployment insurance fraud, including claims filed in multiple states. The letters mailed to Schneider's home were never addressed to her or her husband, so for her, these strange letters are a security concern. In February, the U.S. House Oversight Committee and the U.S. House Ways and Means Committee held hearings to address waste, fraud, and abuse with COVID relief programs. Representative James Comer from Kentucky is chairman of the House Oversight Committee.
We're going to see if there's a way that we can claw some of this money back that was stolen to fraudsters and cyber hackers, and we're going to see if we can hold people accountable for wrongdoing.
Republicans blame the Biden administration, while Democrats blame the Trump administration for not addressing fraud from the beginning. Democrats also stress how pandemic relief programs helped millions of Americans during a rough time period. I know you guys have been feeling pressure from Republicans saying that you guys waited too long to do something or address it. What would your response be to that, Mrs. Sperling?
Well, I think the president has a non-vulgar phrase called malarkey.
After months of asking for an on-camera interview, we spoke with Gene Sperling, White House coordinator of the American Rescue Plan. This month, the administration announced it's introducing a 3-part pandemic anti-fraud proposal.
One, we had $600 million for enforcement to go after the most serious criminals. Number 2, $600 million for prevention to prevent identity theft going forward. And 3, funds to help victims of identity theft who wake up one day and realize someone's stolen their identity and their credit is ruined because of it.
As for Schneider, the strange letters eventually stopped coming to her house. But Schneider still worries her information and security may have been compromised. For her, strengthening our government's fraud detection against cyber criminals cannot wait.
There needs to be a way of tracking who applies for these benefits because clearly there's something wrong.
For Investigate TV, I'm Carice Jackman.
In the GAO's report, it acknowledges the Department of Labor has taken a few steps to address unemployment fraud risks,
but says it has yet to develop a thorough anti-fraud strategy, including 6 recommendations the office gave the department in October of 2021. Stick with us. We'll be back here after a short break.
Don't ignore the sign. The foundation repair experts.
The Rooms to Go anniversary sale is here, and we're turning up the savings to a whole new level. With amazing sale prices on the hottest pieces and coolest packages store-wide. Now, who doesn't like the sound of that? Whether you shop online or in-store, make your move this month and celebrate in style. It's the Rooms to Go anniversary sale going on now.
This man